cool thing is it's a little different than the other fingers, but we can now take these values for this fist and paste it onto the other one. Okay, so while we're on the topic of the fist, I'm just going to start with that on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in to the right hand this time. And I'm going to make sure the fist is entirely active. And then the other camera, I'm going to zoom into the other control here. And I'm going to zero all of these back out. And we're going to copy from this side to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to load my driver and choose fist. Now I also got to make sure that I'm grabbing these fingers instead of the ones on the other side. So I'm going to grab my thumb first. I'm grabbing all of the bases by holding shift. Then I'm going to go to select hierarchy, and that grabs all the hierarchy stacks. Let's go load driven. I'm going to grab the top one all the way to the bottom. And again, I'm going to grab the rotate and translate. I'm not going to be moving any translate, but just in case we have to nudge it, we have that ability. So I'm going to key at that rate. Alright, and now I'm going to take the fist and take it all the way to 10. Again, I'm going to take off the -5 here. Right, so let's go modify, edit attribute, and fist, and just take that to 0. So then we limit 0 instead of 5, just like the other hand. Okay, so I'm going to take the fist to 10, and at this point we can just copy these values over again. So I'm going to grab the target, then the source, then I'm going to grab the values, hit tab a couple times, there we go. Now I'm going to hold Alt, middle click, and drag in this window to activate it. Now when I hit the down arrow, it's just going to go down to the next hierarchy down. So it just makes it easier. Down arrow again, enter. Do this to the next finger. So target, then the source, tab, 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 down arrow. I can just hit enter, down arrow one more time, and hit enter. Middle finger, target first, then the source, tab, 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 down arrow, and the rest of it. Okay, target and source, this is the ring, tab, 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 down arrow, I could just hit enter, tab would work too, down arrow, and enter. That gets that last finger in. Okay, now we don't want to leave this pinky out. So, tap, tap, tap. This would work for translation too if we were using translation, but we're not. Down arrow, enter. Awesome. So at this point I can press the key button. And so now I have a fist. And looks good. I'm going to put this back to 0. And on the other side, I'm also going to put it back to 0, and we're going to copy the relaxed pose over now as well. Okay, so I'm going to take fist back to 0, and I'm going to take the relaxed pose to 10, so we can see the value. And now let's load up the relaxed one here on the right side. So I'm going to load driver, choose relaxed. They're the same fingers, right? So we don't really need to change any of this. Okay, so I could just key it. And now I'm going to take the relaxed to 10 and copy these values all over to the other hand. Okay, so I'm going to grab the target first, then the source. Tab, tab, tab. Down arrow. Just hit enter. Down arrow. Enter. There's the first relaxed pose. So again, here's the middle finger. And there's a little trick here that you can also do to shift over. If you press up on the hierarchy then down, or down on the hierarchy, you're going up and down hierarchy stacks, right? If you press left and right, you're going sideways in hierarchy stacks. So we actually don't need to even use our mouse. Okay, so we can hit the right arrow and go to our middle finger. Now I can arrow down, same thing, arrow down, click over here, enter. I can press up twice, then right mouse button, and we're on our pinky now. Tap, 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 down arrow, oops, enter, down arrow, enter. Then I can press up twice, right arrow. Now we're over the hierarchy stack, and down arrow, and I'm just repeating the process. Down arrow, enter. And now we can do this with our thumb too. So I'm going to hit the up arrow twice. I'm going to press the right arrow once, and that takes us over to the thumb. And you can see us going over, if we're in the outliner, there's going over in the hierarchy stack. That's what it looks like with the right and left arrows. Okay, so there's the thumb. Tap, tap, tap. Down arrow. Enter. Down arrow. Tap, tap, tap. Alright. Not entirely sure I like that. I'm just going to relax the thumb a bit instead. Kind of look broken there. So anyway, I'm going to key it, and I'll have to fix that on the other side as well. It's not too bad though. Okay, so let's take this back up on the relaxed position. I'm going to take it all the way to -5. This one on the right, the character's right, should be working now. We're going to copy from -5 on the character's left to the right side. Just make sure. There we go. Okay, cool. So we're relaxed. There's -5, and we're going to just copy these values over. So I'm going to grab the target first, then the source. Tap, tap, tap. I think you guys know the drill by now. Up, up. I'm going to go over one. Enter. Down arrow. Enter. Down arrow. Enter. Up, and then I'm going to go over, tap, 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 down arrow, tap, 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 down arrow, and same thing. So up twice, down arrow, okay, and finally the thumb. Alright, and at this point, we just hit the key button, and that's it. That's the expanded hand. So there's our relaxed pose. Looks pretty good. There's our expanded. Now, I am going to just fix this one thing on the character's left side. I noticed that the thumb is kind of broken on that pose. Oh, maybe not on this pose. Let's check the relaxed pose. Yeah, there it is. So it's a little bit broken. You can see it bends this way. So I'm just going to go ahead and load that up real quick. I'm going to load driver. I'm going to go to the relaxed position. I'm going to grab all of these. I'm going to go modify. Sorry, select hierarchy. There we go. And load driven. And I just want to make sure to grab all of these. There we go. And all I'm going to do here is zero out the X and the Y. I'm going to keep the Z there and key it. And that way the thumb doesn't look like it's broken. Okay, I'll give it a quick test. We got all our fingers working. I'm going to turn off the X-ray mode. In fact, I'm going to turn off everything and just go polygons for a second. There's all our fingers. You can push them out. They do work independently. There's our spread. We got a relaxed position now, so we can relax our hands a bit. And we can make a fist. Now, with the fist, the thing is, it's a little bit different than it's not much different than these fingers curling, but what I want to do is actually make it so it curls like a hand. So I'm going to offset the animation of each of these fingers next.